All right, welcome to Talking Taker, episode number 21. We appreciate you joining us today. Glad to be with you on our exploration, digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time. We want to thank you, as always, for coming in with us on another round of Dead Man Talking. I am your host, co-host, Alex Doriot, one half of the tag team, the Creatures of the Night, and I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner and co-host, Mr. Travis White. And Travis, from now on, I only want to be referred to as the Big D. You got that?
No problem, Big D.
Thank you.
You got it.
Officially changing my name to that.
Singlet he has on in this match.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Big D. Big Daddy Cool.
Big
That's
Daddy
great.
Cool.
I love it. Listeners, Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a great New Year. I know I did, as a Georgia fan. Bulldogs going to national championship. We'll see.
They're definitely going.
Anyway,
We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, they're going. We'll see what happens next. The next episode of this, we'll talk about if I still have a good New Year.
That's right. Well, you listeners may have...
Too, so.
Say again?
I was saying we're using my new microphone you got me for Christmas,
right.
Big D. So let's see how this goes. Listeners, let us know if it sounds better or clearer or what. So.
Listeners, you may remember we mentioned our college football allegiances a couple episodes ago, and we were hoping for a Clemson-Georgia national championship game. That would have been perfect for us, but the Tigers could not come through, so we have to settle for runners-up this year, third or fourth place, I guess. I guess we're probably fourth place. Oklahoma probably take third place after that performance. They look pretty good. But, yeah, man, I'm going to have to pull for the Dogs. That's not my normal mindset, but I'm going to be pulling for y'all's team this year, hoping y'all come out on top. And, of course, AJ Styles will as well. We know that for sure.
Absolutely.
But
and Tony Schiavone.
Oh, Tony Schiavone will. Shout out to him as well. Man, him versus Conrad. That's perfect.
Absolutely. That's why we wanted it Clemson, Georgia, too. You know? So, anyway.
I'm hoping they'll do maybe, I know they can't do it live, but maybe they'll go back after the fact and do like a podcast. Yeah, what happened when on the national championship game. That'd be fun.
That'd be great.
Well, speaking of big fans, I've been excited to get to this episode, episode number 21. You have a joke for episode number 21?
Oh, it's just that we're finally adults here.
Exactly.
That's all I was going to say.
Exactly.
21, we're finally adults.
We're finally adults, but I'm going to take it back, as I like to do, to the kids' corner, or whatever I called it.
Yeah, we didn't really do that since then. But
no, but...
While I was a kid. When I was a kid.
Yeah, when I was a kid corner. I've been looking forward to this episode, to talking about Undertaker versus Big Daddy Cool Diesel for a long time, because I know I'm probably in the minority here, but growing up, after initially becoming a fan, watching Hulk Hogan and Bret the Hitman Hart, I have to say that as a kid, I was the biggest fan of Big Daddy Cool Diesel. He was the leader of the new generation, and his year-long run as the WWF champion came right, when I was 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old, really peaking in my WWF fandom, WWF magazine subscriber. I had my Diesel action figure, and he was just the coolest to me, man. I bought into Big Daddy Cool. I had the Diesel black leather gloves. I would wear them to school sometimes even. So he was the man to me. And so much so that when Halloween rolled around, October of 1995, when Diesel was in his final month as the WWF champion, I just had to be Diesel for Halloween. It was the only costume I could think of. And, so surprisingly, they did not sell Diesel Halloween costumes. Not that I could find.
Fat Man's?
No, I didn't see him at Fat Man's or Toys R Us or anything like that. But my grandmother, her friend was a seamstress, and my mom put in the calls, and I actually went and even got measured by her for this Diesel costume. Ooh. I showed her the pictures of Diesel's outfit from WrestleMania XI, which is very similar to his WrestleMania 12 outfit. He's got the white, shiny top, and I think it says Diesel Power on this shirt. and he's got the black pants with the fringe on the side of them.
Tassels, yeah.
The tassels on there. And she made me the most amazing, picture perfect Diesel costume with the silver shiny vest as well with the tassel on there. I got a big black wig, painted the goatee on my face. Up top on my face, I don't think I looked much like Kevin Nash at all. But costume-wise, man, it was perfect. And I'll tell you what, not a single person I think knew who I was when I came trick-or-treating at the door. That's where WWF was in the world culture at that time. But I was happy, man. I couldn't have been happier. So I was probably the only person to ever dress up as Diesel for Halloween, but it made me so happy.
What a missed opportunity back then. Now they do that kind of stuff, but yeah, what a missed opportunity, man. They should have had that.
They really should have.
I remember once we became friends, because we didn't know each other.
Not yet.
At that point. So,
not yet.
Once we became friends, I remember probably one of the first times I came to your house, you showed me that. Man, I thought it was so cool. I just loved it. And then we went on to use it, because we had our backyard matches or wrestled in the house or whatever. So
we did, for sure.
Used that outfit many times. So.
And I actually got to tell Kevin Nash that when we went to WrestleMania 27, and when we get to that matchup, we'll have lots of stories to tell when we went to WrestleMania together. But we went to Fan Access that year, and I think we were actually in line for someone else to get an autograph, and that person left the line, and I think Kevin Nash stepped in. That happened once or twice while we were there, but that was awesome to me. I got him to sign my WrestleMania poster, and you don't get to spend a lot of time with those people at Fan Access. You get maybe 10, 15 seconds with them, but I made sure to mention, man, I dressed up for you for Halloween back when I was a kid. He just kind of laughed and thought, man, that's ridiculous. But I wish I had a picture on my phone at that time to show him. But it was really cool, and I mean I was stoked. I got to meet Kevin Nash, my favorite wrestler as a kid. So that was pretty awesome.
Yep. Pretty awesome. So yeah, we've both been looking forward to this match. I know, especially it has a special place for you. And man, I love Diesel too. I love Kevin Nash. I came in way later to the game than you did, but again, and I mentioned last episode that he's less Diesel and more Kevin Nash now, and that's who I remember. Because I grew up watching Kevin Nash. I had to go back and in hindsight and watch Diesel and stuff. So I really dig this match a lot, and especially the build-up. And listeners, we're going to spend a lot of time probably talking about the build-up to this match. The match is good too, but there's a lot of build-up. And Alex mentioned the Big D mentioned last episode. My 1,000 apologies. Mentioned last episode that this podcast is about the changing of Undertaker and how he permeates all these different eras of the WWF, WWE, and it's definitely a changing the guard now. The new generation's kind of going down, and we're getting pre-Attitude Era stuff, and so there's a lot of stuff that we built up here, and the Monday Night Wars are kicking off for the last several months, and they're really at a head, and Vince is trying his hardest to take a shot at Bischoff and Ted Turner, and it's stupid, but so the storylines are progressing a lot faster, so we might have a lot more to talk about in the build-ups to these matches, if that's okay with you guys. So
yeah, and we'll cover the match for sure, and we're not gonna do just a huge play-by-play breakdown of it, but we'll talk about some interesting stuff that we saw in there. But yeah, like you said, there's just a ton of build-up, and it's a great build-up, man. This feud,
so good.
We've been talking about it the past couple episodes because it's actually been brewing since November. Really started simmering since Survivor Series, and it's definitely the number 2 match on this show. I mean, everyone remembers WrestleMania 12 from the Iron Man match, as they should. One of the greatest, probably top 5 WWF matches of all time.
I feel like that match, as the years go on, it gets less and less looked at as how special it was. To me, it still holds up, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I love the Iron Man match. I love this pay-per-view. I love the stories that were told up to this entire pay-per-view. The new blood that's on it, too. You got Stone Cold, the Ringmaster, Steve Austin. He's got 100 names. Mark Merrow's debut is what it is, it's just a lot of good stuff. And again, that Iron Man match is one of the best I've ever seen. So to
me, it feels for the first time like a modern WrestleMania. I went back and watched through all the WrestleManias when we went back at WrestleMania 27 in preparation. And the first 10 or 11 really feel totally different. They don't have like that super card feel. It just feels like, yeah, there's usually a big main event, but then it just kind of feels like they're throwing a bunch of people on the card. Just a bunch of matches to get as many people on the card. And like those early cards have 12, 13 matches on there.
Oh, yeah.
And this one, of course, the Iron Man takes up an hour worth of the show, an hour plus, so you'd only have time for 5 or 6 matches. But it helped to make every match feel important, which nowadays, the cards are 6 hours long, so you do have a bunch of matches, but all the matches feel important. And you have the one match, the Battle Royal, on the pre-show where you get everyone a payday on the card, but it actually feels more like every match matters. These feuds have been building up for a long time, and that's kind of what this WrestleMania felt like. Every match on this show had a story to it, including this one, which had, like we said, been building for a long time, and it's the Undertaker's first real important WrestleMania match. You know, nowadays, he's always one of the most important matches, but these first, how many have we covered? 4 so far. You know, it's just a match on the card against King Kong Bundy or Giant Gonzalez or anything. It's not that important. But this one matters. It has stakes. It's a big deal because it's been building for so long.
It's personal. Yeah. It takes a really heavy personal turn, and a lot of stake here. So, anyways, WrestleMania 12, March 31st, 96, at the Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim. Do they go back there much anymore?
I don't know if they do.
They play like Raws or something.
Yeah,
there, but
I don't.
It's a small venue.
It's pretty small for a WrestleMania, definitely. But yeah, I mean, it looks cool, and I liked the big WrestleMania logo on the mat. I thought that looked cool and different. And it's really, I guess, you know, we've covered a lot of stuff up to the Royal Rumble, and you know, if you listen to our Royal Rumble episode, you heard all the kerfluffle that went on there with Undertaker and Diesel interrupting the Undertaker's near victory to win the championship, and then giving Undertaker the finger as he walked out the door.
Yeah.
And the show ends with Undertaker promising. The show ends with Gorilla Monsoon giving Diesel the #1 contendership, and Undertaker promising, you know, there's no, it'll be a cold day in hell before Diesel wins the WWF Championship. So in the weeks leading up to the February pay-per-view, you mentioned you didn't think Diesel deserved his title shot. Undertaker deserved his opportunity. Undertaker did get that opportunity on my birthday in 1996, February 5th.
How about that?
He does get a rematch.
10-year-old Big D.
Yeah. I'm sure I was watching it live. I don't remember it in my head, but I'm sure I was. I never missed Raw back then. So, and of course, Diesel has to stick his face into that match as well and interfere and cost Undertaker the title once again.
Yep, and he gives him a couple chair shots and then 2 jackknives, and then right in the middle of the ring. I've always loved Kevin Nash's jackknife. It's not like a forceful, powerful one when he does it on a big guy like this, but for some reason I just like when he picks you up and just like lets the guy go,
just
drops you know? Yeah, he's not slamming; he just like drops him. But seeing Undertaker get like beat up like that was something kind of new for this character.
It is, and you know, Undertaker does not take that lightly as we head into In Your House February 1996, February 18th. The main event is Bret Hart versus Diesel in the classic blue bar steel cage. Man, so good, so good. And it's a really good match. The two of them have a pretty decent cage match with each other, and Diesel is making his way out of the cage at the end of the match when all of a sudden, and I did actually order this pay-per-view live back in the day. It's one of the first ones I ordered back at my house. I got the cable box out and begged my parents to let me order the In Your House. And all of a sudden, I can remember it clear as day.
Jesus going to WrestleMania! What is this? What in the world is this? What is this? What is this? What is going on? What is going on? Bret Hart is outside the cage.
The Undertaker comes up from under the ring, rips a hole in the ring, and grabs Diesel's leg and drags him into the depths of hell under the ring, supposedly. The smoke bubbles up from out of the ring. Diesel is fighting and crawling and trying to stay alive, but the Undertaker drags him under the ring and allows Bret Hart to escape. And the Undertaker makes good on his word that it'll be a cold day in hell before Diesel wins the WWF Championship. And just an incredibly memorable, special effect and special finish to this match. I thought that was awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because we haven't seen that up to this point,
no.
Have we? Him under the ring? So this is the first time that either one of us can recall. If we're wrong, somebody please point it out. But this is the first time we've seen that. And, yeah, it's really special. You know, you keep talking about how Undertaker is like a movie monster. And this definitely gives him that feel. You know,
yeah.
He comes up, you know, reaches out, grabs the bad guy and is dragging him down. Just like, you know, Jason or, Freddy Krueger or something. You know, one of those classic monsters, and Diesel's selling it like he's terrified.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool to see, because later on, you know, he keeps talking about I ain't afraid of the dark or whatever, but here he is, and you get the dry ice, you know, the smoke billowing out,
and Diesel, when he comes up
there,
oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I was saying Diesel does get released. He doesn't keep him there and kill him or anything, but he lets him out, and Diesel goes hopping over the cage,
and his pants are ripped up too. Like,
yeah,
what the heck happened down there, man?
I don't want to know. But yeah, he goes hopping over the cage, and Undertaker kind of stalks him, you know, and then Diesel makes his way up the entrance ramp, and Undertaker climbs the cage and just kind of motions to Diesel, and it's a really cool way to end the pay-per-view. Again, the Bret Hart thing is kind of cast aside. You know, they've already got that main event match set with him and Shawn. So, like you said, this is the number 2 match on WrestleMania, which now we take for granted. The Undertaker matches are, but back then it wasn't. So,
yeah,
it's really cool to see how much focus is being put on this storyline.
It was a really cool visual to end the show with him standing at the cage, and I will say, you know, it was a cool special effect. You can tell it's definitely in the early days of doing things like this. I mean, nowadays, if they were to do something like that, there would be a lot. It would have been a much bigger production. There would have probably been thunder and lightning and lights and stuff happening. And here it was just a little smoke, and it was more subtle, but it was still really cool the way that they sold it and made a big deal out of it. But it had me thinking, though. So Undertaker drags Diesel under the ring. Wouldn't Diesel have touched the floor at that moment, more than likely? And wouldn't Diesel technically... Shouldn't he have won the match and become the WWF champion? He probably touched the floor first.
I don't know, because does the rule... we have to consult the rule book, and Daniel Bryan used to sell on SmackDown. Yeah, because it said you got to go over the cage or through the door and
maybe that's the way.
Touch the feet.
Yeah, maybe that's the way around it.
There.
Yeah, because he does go out of the ring and touch the floor first. Unless Undertaker has some padding down there to prevent him. Maybe he thought of that. Undertaker thinks of everything.
That's true. He does. He's always one step ahead.
He is.
Playing mind games. We hear the word mind games a lot. It's build up. It's build up to this match.
And one last thing on that match, on that pay-per-view too, the opening video package is really all about this story between Bret Hart, Diesel, and Undertaker. Even though Undertaker doesn't have a match on the show, they are pretty much...
Right.
They're telegraphing that he's definitely going to be involved somehow. And it just makes you think, if this had happened a year or two later, this probably would have been a triple threat match. They would have booked this a lot differently. We wouldn't have seen that type of finish. You've got a 3-way feud building here. And so, like, nowadays, modern booking definitely would have been Bret Hart versus Diesel versus Undertaker. But we take for granted that we didn't start seeing those in the WWF till '97, I think. So it just didn't exist back then. And now it's so commonplace. You know, you see one almost every week on some show or another, triple threat or fatal 4-way or something. And it just wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah, I was saying they could have even done a fatal 4-way with Shawn in this match.
That would have been awesome.
So
those 4 guys in a fatal 4-way would have been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the next night on Raw,
here we go.
It opens up with just recounting this story, and Raw's going to be built around this storyline for the next one particular episode coming up, but the Rex, build up to WrestleMania. Raw's built on this and the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart match, which there's not much story to tell because there's no rivalry. It's just like they're both good guys. This one has a good guy and a bad guy. Well, Diesel eventually becomes a bad guy.
Eventually, yeah, he's still in that tweener role right now. Yeah, he hadn't fully turned yet. We do see that in the build-up, but here he's still, best friends with Shawn Michaels. He's still, fist bumping some people in the crowd, so he's still not quite fully turned yet.
Yeah, so this episode, the night after, it's all about them. For some reason, backstage, the Undertaker comes out of his casket. Paul Bearer is standing there, and he's holding the urn, and rest in peace, giant double wide casket opens up, and Undertaker walks out like a vampire or something. So
yes, now we're positing that the Undertaker is not just a zombie, but some sort of vampire. So interesting.
Yeah, if he turns into a bat, I'm done.
We love the Undertaker and we love his story, but it's not the most consistent character. I mean, we can't say that at all.
Yeah, he's literally, we have never seen him step out of a casket.
No.
In the last, since 1990. So here we are in the beginning of 96, and he is walking out of a casket as if it's his, Serta mattress where he sleeps. But anyway, it tells the good story here. So he comes out and he's main eventing against the Native American Tatanka. Be sure to get the Native American in there. And Diesel comes walking down the rampway with an axe.
Yes.
And I'm like, he's going to murder this guy. But he takes Triple H's sledgehammer to a new level.
Oh, yeah.
Bring the axe down.
Can you imagine if that just became his new weapon of choice? Like the sledgehammer or Jeff Jarrett's guitar. Diesel just comes out with an axe every week.
Big D. Oh, it's crazy. So he comes out with an axe and he doesn't attempt to murder. He takes a cameraman to the back. There are no other cameramen in the building?
No, but I love that, though, because it's not just nowadays the camera is just always in the locker room or everywhere people are. Back then, you had to go grab the cameraman because it wouldn't make sense for a cameraman to just be filming you while you were about your business backstage. But he wanted the Undertaker to see what he was doing. He was playing a mind game with him. He was trying to out psychologize. I don't know what I'm saying. He's trying to out intimidate, outwit.
Outlast.
Yeah, you just outwitted me right there. He's trying to outwit the Undertaker, so he makes sure that the Undertaker sees what he's about to do. I love that.
Yep. It was cool. So he goes to the back and makes sure the cameraman gets it, and we get a split screen. We get to see what's happening, and he just starts a melee on this casket.
I got something for the world to see. Stay right there. What? Diesel back it. Ow! Whoa! At the Undertaker's casket! And the Undertaker with live action on the right of your screen with the Tatanka. Meanwhile, look what Diesel is doing.
Rips it into shreds with his axe, and it's a pretty cool visual, and again, pretty cool way to get under Undertaker's skin, because I don't think Undertaker knows it's actually happening, because he pins Tatanka, and then as he's going to the back, or I think Paul Bearer points him to the Titantron or whatever, right? And then he sees it. So it's kind of cool.
It was really cool. It's a lot. It's changing it up because we've seen the urn being stolen so many times now. And
too much.
And Mabel spray painted the urn a couple months ago, but now we're seeing Diesel just absolutely destroy the urn, turn it into kindling. So I liked it. It was a great way to really amp up the feud here and make it personal. I mean, he destroyed his home, man. That's like Randy Orton burning down.
Undertaker's homeless.
Yeah, Randy Orton burning down Sister Abigail's house, a grave or whatever it was.
Oh, what a jerk! Yeah.
So that's Raw.
I did want to mention that when Undertaker walks to the back, he's not doing that lumbering, stalking, monster, pursuit thing. He's actually he's not running or jogging, but he's walking with a purpose. Like he's walking faster, like he's angry. And I mentioned that after Survivor Series when he barged in on Gorilla Monsoon and gave that fiery promo. He's getting a new edge to him. We still got the supernatural stuff, and we'll see that in the next couple episodes of Raw. But he's becoming more human too, even though he sleeps in a casket. So,
We're back now, ladies and gentlemen, and the Undertaker and Paul Bearer obviously surveying the remains.
That's Raw 147 on February 19th, 96. Raw 148 on the 26th. Not as much going on here, but still we have Diesel in the ring now against Bob Holly. Main event anywhere in the country, for sure. This is weird because they have their little match and they go to commercial. And they come right back from commercial, and Diesel already has Bob Holly up in the jackknife as they come in from commercial and pins him 1, 2, 3 right there. But this whole match, Diesel is just showing a lot of fear. He's like looking around his shoulder every time after he does a move, looking around, knows the Undertaker is going to be coming after him, or assumes that he is. Gets the pin and starts to celebrate and walk out of there. And we see the lights go out, lights flickering. We hear the gong at the beginning of Undertaker's music, and I believe we see the Undertaker in the aisleway first, I think.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
We see the Undertaker in the aisleway just appear, sort of Bray Wyatt style, and then the lights go off as Diesel goes to attack him, and the gong hits, and after a couple seconds in the darkness, Diesel's in the aisleway all by himself, and the Undertaker is in the ring, posing and taunting Diesel. So they reverse cycle again, the lights go out, the gong hits, and Diesel's in the ring, and Undertaker's just on the video screen and cuts a little promo on Diesel. So again, Undertaker says,
So you want to play my games? I'm the master of the mind game. So Diesel, I will see you on the dark side. Wow, he's gonna see him at WrestleMania, McMahon. I can't wait for that. Yes, it'll be on the dark side for sure. What a matchup at WrestleMania.
Another really cool segment, building it up. Something we've seen a lot of in the future. And I think he did this maybe once or twice before with Yokozuna, some similar things.
Yeah.
But it's a signature of The Undertaker's psychological warfare, the lights going out and appearing and disappearing. So it was cool to see that.
Yeah. Like I say, he's still got that supernatural-ish, but he's definitely evolved from 1990, 1991. He's no longer that Undertaker. He's got a lot more tools in his belt, and he's becoming more human. And I want to mention, too, the Mankind first promo was on that last week's episode of Raw, too, and that'll come into play later on this year, next future episodes of Talking Taker. So Mankind debuts in a Raw vignette, and I just wrote, man, it is so good. It's better than any vignette they do nowadays. It's so good.
I can't wait to talk about those for sure, and we'll probably get into that on the next episode.
That's right. And so 2 weeks later on the next episode of Raw,
this will be Raw 150 on March 11th. Yeah,
that's it. Is this when? There's a tag match. It's Undertaker and Yokozuna. They buried their differences, Vince says.
But it was cool. They made a big deal out of it. Like, they hyped it up the week before. They hyped it up all episode. They showed clips of their rivalry, and they made it a big deal. Kind of the opposite of what we see now when, you could have, like, year-long rivalries nowadays, and then somebody turns, and then all of a sudden they're tag team partners, and they don't even hardly reference it anymore. Like, I remember the Wyatt family broke up, and then all of a sudden, like, Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan were just tag teaming one episode, or they were fighting each other, like, with no build-up and no reference to their history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they made this a big deal. And Undertaker and Yokozuna, when they got in the ring together, they didn't trust each other. Yokozuna was still, he was a babyface now, but that didn't fix their issues. He was still very intimidated by Undertaker. They never shook hands or hugged or anything like that. They were on the same team because they had common enemies, but they were staring each other down because they didn't fully trust each other either. And I liked the way that they did that.
Oh, yeah. That was good. Again, good storytelling. You know, we're suckers for storytelling, and all these stories are being told really well here. But at this point, Diesel comes out and he starts beating up Paul Bearer, and that makes Undertaker leave the match and abandon his partner. Again, he has no reason to care about Yokozuna, so he doesn't mind leaving and going to the back to check on, or going to the ringside to check on Bear. And then Paul Bear is like, "Go to the back, get him!" Like he's instructing him to go, and you see Taker just kind of walk quickly away to go get Diesel again. So
yeah, I mean,
cool.
what a jerk! He just unprovoked just beat the crap out of Paul Bear, man. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, such a jerk.
And there were.
But again,
go ahead.
A few days later is when Diesel officially turns heel.
They mention on this show that Diesel and Shawn Michaels are going to be facing Bret Hart and The Undertaker at Madison Square Garden that weekend. So they mentioned that. So Diesel's still teaming with Shawn Michaels, still his best friend. But you missed the other most important part of this match.
Oh, my.
As commentary, or as Undertaker's coming out on commentary, Jerry Lawler mentions that he wasn't sure if Undertaker was going to be in the building tonight because funeral services are tomorrow for George Burns.
Oh, man. I didn't even hear that. So,
happy birthday and now rest in peace to George Burns.
Exactly. Within one pay-per-view, one episode of
Man, turned 100 and then passed away. And I guess The Undertaker had to fly out to his funeral the next day.
Good on Jerry Lawler. Yeah. That's incredible. That's great. Yeah, I missed that. Oh, so I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, after going to the funeral, Undertaker has that matchup at Madison Square Garden with Bret Hart against Big Daddy Cool Diesel and Shawn Michaels.
Jerry Lawler. Sorry, so good. Anyway.
So what happens in that match at Madison Square Garden?
Who wins? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Diesel goes nuts afterward.
Yeah, that's the big important part.
He beats up Undertaker and Bret Hart, and then he turns back on Shawn Michaels and turns on him and officially seals his fate as a heel here. So again, all the two main storylines going to WrestleMania in a tag match, they're all baby faces until Diesel sticks the knife in Shawn's back here and officially turns heel.
Yeah, so, long time coming, and really, really cool to see. Really well done again. They built it up, they made it count, they made it important, and it was interesting that it happened on a house show too. I guess they're trying to sell the importance of house shows as well,
especially the MSG show.
Yeah, of course.
That's always the most important one. Then on March 18th, more Mind Games is when Paul Bearer pushes a casket out, a legit casket.
Yes, he has
not
upgraded.
Not one that they whittled in a shop or anything. It could be George Burns. We don't know.
It's a metal casket.
Yeah.
Do you think Undertaker built this one too?
What?
Do you think he built this one? Is he a metal worker now?
Oh, no. By no means. He likes to use the elements,
right?
The earth, like the trees. Yeah. He doesn't use metal. So I have no idea.
Well, you mentioned, we're seeing him on Raw every week now, so maybe he had to step back from the casket building industry for a little while to focus on wrestling. So that could be part of it.
Probably true. Oh. Anyway, so he pushes this casket out, and the commentary keeps selling that Undertaker's inside. He's inside just waiting for Diesel, and they're really selling that. But this match, I want to talk about this actual match.
I did too.
Barry Horowitz and Diesel. I love Barry Horowitz. I remember him from WCW.
Oh, yeah.
He did a job slapping himself on the back. I think he even did that here, too, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Patting himself on the back.
I mean, to me, a lot of people say Brooklyn Brawler is the greatest jobber of all time. For me, it's Barry Horowitz. He's number one in my heart.
BH is number one. He'll always be. That's what I call him, BH.
Yeah.
But,
the big BH.
See the finish this match?
Well, yes. And I think, Diesel gets distracted when Paul Bearer rolls the casket out. And if this match would have happened in 2018, Barry Horowitz would have rolled him up and won at that point. That's how they do finishes now. But thank God that didn't happen back then. For the number 2 WrestleMania match, he did not get beaten by a roll-up 2 weeks before. But that stuff happens nowadays all the time. But I'm really glad it didn't happen then, because we got this awesome finish.
So Diesel gives Barry Horowitz a big boot, and he goes down, and he covers him very nonchalantly, and he gets a 2 count, and I am pretty sure that Horowitz screwed that up. I don't think he was supposed to kick out. So he kicks out. Diesel looks at him and just decks him in the face. Just cold cocks him right in the face, and then pins him again, and then gets a 3 count. I love it. It's so good.
One punch, Big Daddy Cool knocks him out.
One punch, Big D, man.
Yeah, that was.
There's no
crazy.
way that was the finish.
It couldn't have been. No, you're right. It had to have been
supposed to be it. Diesel's livid. He just punches Horowitz like as a shoot in the face, and then pins him. But anyway, then there's some tomfoolery afterward. I'll let you talk about this part afterward, because you actually mentioned that you were watching this live as it happened.
I was. And, I've never forgotten this. It was cool to go back and watch it. But I vividly remember watching this live. Paul Bearer leaves the casket there by the ringside. Diesel goes and grabs a wrench from the timekeeper's table. So now Diesel has used an axe and a wrench in the build-up to this match.
An attempted murder.
Yeah. I thought he was going to try to pry the casket open, but he's knocking on the casket door, waiting for Undertaker to pop out of it, and he's going to whack him on the head with the wrench.
Who answers a casket door if someone knocks on it?
That's where the Undertaker lives. He's being polite, knocking on the door.
My bad. That's right.
But nobody pops out, so Diesel lifts the lid up, and he just steps back in horror, because inside is Diesel. Diesel sees himself in the casket. A full-sized body double mannequin is in there, and this is just shocking to him. And I think they did it really well. I didn't know how they did it as a kid. I guess I've heard on podcasts or whatever nowadays that when you see the shot of Diesel's face, that's actually Diesel's face, that close-up. They filmed that earlier in the day. They put Diesel himself in the casket, so when they show the close-up, that's really his face. And when they zoom out, it's just like a mannequin or something in there, or some sort of dummy in there dressed up as Diesel. But Diesel sees himself, he's spooked, and this is just a classic mind game from The Undertaker. One of the most memorable things from me, and I don't know if they ever did anything like this again. I don't fully remember Undertaker doing something like that, but I just thought it was really, really incredible, really shocking, and really great psychological warfare in there. Really, really cool.
Oh, yeah, it's cool. And, Undertaker's got one up on Diesel. He actually is scared. He keeps talking about he's not scared. He shudders here, seeing yourself in a cast. It's like Empire Strikes Back. Luke Skywalker sees himself in Darth Vader mask. Like, it's that. Yeah. It's scary to see yourself in that situation. So, anyway, I thought it was pretty cool.
Really, really cool. And we're gonna try to get into the match here. I know we're running long. There's not much on the week after.
There's a build-up show in the ring.
Yeah. Just Undertaker cuts a promo.
Saying, creatures of the night, are you prepared for the feast? So I guess he's going to feed everyone. So, But I do want to mention, Paul Bearer gives a little promo before, but then Undertaker does, and we're seeing Undertaker become more comfortable by himself on the mic, and we'll see how this all plays out as the stories continue throughout 1996. But anyway, basically, Diesel messed up putting your hands on Bear, and it's personal. So
that's right. And so
also the Ultimate Warrior's coming back. Just
that's the other big selling point of WrestleMania. Yeah, no kidding. So WrestleMania 12, we'll dive right into it. Like we said, the build-up is so much more fun to talk about and interesting, but the match is good too. We've got Vince McMahon and the King on commentary, so back to that classic duo, and I think we'll see, I don't know exactly, but I think we'll see a lot more of them here coming up shortly. Yeah. Mr. Perfect has been relegated to backstage interviews wearing the brightest blue suit you've ever seen in your life. Looked like Violet Beauregard from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, man. Just blueberry.
Like Sinbad from the old comedies in the 90s. I want to say one of the reasons we get so much build-up for this, talking about the build-up, is because there's no video package.
There's no video package, no.
Not at all. Not even anything. So there's an audio package. They talk about it as they come to the ring. But,
they do. Yeah.
I'll call it an audio package. But there's no video package to build it up. So
well, as they come to the ring,
gave so much.
Jerry Lawler compares the Undertaker's revenge and his tactics on the Diesel to the biblical plagues. I thought that was an interesting way to put it. All these different mind games are like plagues that Diesel has brought upon himself. And I like the Undertaker's entrance, too. It's a little bit different. Instead of raising the lights up on the stairs as he's walking into the ring, he steps all the way to the middle of the ring, and there's spotlights on him, and then he raises up all the lights. So a little bit different entrance than we've seen before for him. Still not to that special WrestleMania level that we've known him for. I think WrestleMania 14, the next one, will be the first really special. Well, not the next one, because we got to do WrestleMania 13 before that. I'm getting ahead of myself. But, so there they are.
Oh, did you notice when Diesel comes out, Vince says, he's cool, and he's big. He's Big Daddy Cool. You idiot. So dumb.
He's got to explain it all.
Goodness. You know? But Vince keeps saying, this is his greatest challenge.
Yes.
This is his greatest challenge. Not so fast, my friend.
Exactly.
Check out 1991 Survivor Series.
Well, they're trying to write the huckster out of the history books, so that match never happened, in their opinion.
Exactly.
Well, these guys go after each other right when the bell rings, which is good. They've had such an intense feud. There's no lockups here. They just start wailing after each other, and it's the typical back and forth that we've seen at the beginning of a lot of Undertaker's matches. I did say it felt like these guys were legit mad at each other. They were hitting hard at the beginning, throwing each other into the corners hard. I mean, they were going full force.
Oh yeah, and there's something to be said for that, man. Like, I know you and I both love watching just athletic contests, and you've seen someone like Kurt Angle and AJ Styles or something, but seeing two big behemoths just wail away at each other, there's something special about that, and these guys weren't holding anything back, throwing a few potatoes at each other, and not literally, but haymakers, and slamming each other into the ring posts, but Diesel is actually telling the story. He's got some psychology. He's working on Undertaker's back the whole match, and he's slamming him into the ring post and kneeing him in the back and doing side slams and stuff. So
that's true.
I mean, Kevin Nash isn't known for his technical prowess, but he's telling a story here, man. He's got psychology. So. And
listeners, if you hear noise in the background, that's not Big Daddy Cool driving through. That's the train. I'm in a new house right now. We just moved over Christmas, and train tracks is literally right across the street. So they come by at least once an hour. So if you hear that in the background, that's what that is. I'm not sure if it's picking it up or not, but
I can't hear it.
Yeah, Diesel. Putting some psychology in there. Undertaker gets his perfect 10 landing on the floor after the clothesline to the outside, as always.
Still hasn't missed that.
Never misses. Gets the old school as usual, too. Really the turning point at the beginning is Undertaker goes for a big flying clothesline, and Diesel ducks it, and Taker takes a really hard bump. I think he was supposed to go to the outside, but the placement in the ring was really weird, and it takes a weird hit right there. And Diesel...
He hit a cross body before that, which was crazy.
Yeah, that was different.
Yeah. He hits a cross body, and then he goes for, I guess, another one or a diving clothesline, and he lands hard. Hard. And I just want to mention, I think a member of the New Day was in the audience, because there's a trombone that's like... That's actually probably an air horn, but it sounds like Xavier Woods. Like,
Xavier Woods at his first WrestleMania, I guess.
Yeah, he's like 8 years old.
There's a lot of fighting on the outside. Taker tries for a chair shot and just throws the rulebook out the window, but he misses. And so Diesel sends Undertaker into the guardrail. And unlike the last match, the guardrail, protecting the ring. Unlike the last match, Diesel breaks the count. He goes inside and makes sure to break the count so he can get a clean victory here. Yeah.
I love that. You don't see that often nowadays. But good stuff.
Diesel's dominating, and the King is on King's on commentary just screaming for the jackknife. Jackknife! Jackknife! Hit him with a jackknife! Just excited.
Can't wait. dominating the Undertaker like he's never been dominated before, says one of the commentators. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if I agree with that, but he's definitely,
he's in control.
Definitely getting to limit. So,
Diesel's
getting booed real bad.
They're good
heat.
The crowd's chanting "Rest in peace," and Diesel's mocking them, making fun of them, and the finish, making our way towards the ending of the match. The big spot is they hit a double big boot on each other. They both go running, and they say on commentary they both have a signature big boot, and they hit each other at the same time with that. I don't think I've seen it now. I think this might have been the first time I've seen a spot like that. Two big guys, instead of a double clothesline, they both get knocked out after the big boot, and it's kind of a cool visual. They're both just like out cold, spread out across the ring. You don't see that from those guys.
I want to mention one thing Jerry Lawler said just prior to that big boot. Yeah. He said if the Undertaker's hair gets any longer, he's going to look like Crystal Gale. So throw that in. Go to Google and check out Crystal Gale, and he's exactly right. Anyway, but yeah, that big boot spot is great, and they're both down, and power of the urn, I think one of the commentators says power of the urn, and because Paul Bearer holds it up, and again, still a little supernatural, but more human, and they're both up at 8, and then Diesel hits him with the old dreaded bear hug.
He does. Oh man.
But when he does that, Jerry Lawler says, "You got him, baby!" So Chris Jericho and Adam Cole owe that line to Jerry Lawler.
Apparently, man. I wrote that down too.
You got him, baby!
Where did that come
Good
from?
Stuff. I have no idea. He's a huge Diesel mark.
Big time.
Yeah.
Diesel's got the bear hug locked in, and man, you just don't see bear hug anymore. I don't know. I guess has Braun Strowman done that? Because if not, he needs to do more bear hugs.
I think
that's perfect for him.
I believe so. Well, I mean, again, Diesel's telling that story. He's working on the back. He's going to jackknife him. So he's telling the story, man. And
Undertaker's fighting through it. He's not just standing there waiting around. He's fighting and selling and trying to get out of it, and he does. He eventually gets a big top rope clothesline, and Big Daddy Cool barely kicks out, like 2 9/4. He kicks out. But then...
Wait. 2 9/4?
2 9/4, yeah. You heard me.
9 Wait, is this Scott Steiner? Scott Steiner?
Yeah. 2 9/10, and then another quarter on top of that. 2.975. I think that's what I meant.
There you go.
I'm not sure what I meant. Just barely.
Then there's 4 guys in the audience that look like they're from the Foot Clan from the original Ninja Turtles movie, and they're trying to start a wave. Did you see those guys?
I did not see that. No.
4 guys in a row trying to start a wave, and nobody cares because they're into the match.
This
match is good. So.
Diesel's able to get up and get the jackknife for the first time and power bombs Undertaker, but he makes that fatal mistake that so many of Undertaker's opponents had. He just stands there and just chills out, like leaning on the ropes, gloating, and being cocky, just like kicking the Undertaker's body and refusing to pin him.
Yep. And, then he goes and hits a second one, and he kind of does the same thing for a minute, and he goes over to the ring ropes, and he looks at the camera, he says, "I'm so good, it's scary." Man, like, what a cocky, arrogant thing to say.
Yeah.
But, Kevin Nash means it, but
True.
The character Diesel saying it. So, but he hits that second jackknife, and then he goes for the cover, finally. But yeah, if you're trying to pin the guy, just jackknife him and pin him. But that was a cool line, though. I'm so good at scary. But as he goes for the cover, Undertaker goozles him, chokes his throat, and Diesel starts laying in the old Barry Horowitz right hook to his face.
It's not going to work on the Undertaker, though.
Yeah, it might work on a BH, but it won't work on Taker. So, and then Undertaker keeps choking him, and they stand up at this point, and he's choking him. Diesel hits the side suplex.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels' old finisher.
Yeah, learned it from him, I guess. But that's not going to do it. Undertaker fights back. Big clothesline, choke slam, then hits the throat slash, and actually gets him up for a ugly but effective tombstone. Massive.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't remember that. I thought he finished him with the choke slam, but yeah, he was able to get him up for the tombstone and gets the win for his gravest challenge.
His second gravest challenge. Re-gravest challenge. But he gets the power of the urn. Paul Bearer's holding it up, after that choke slam, and he looks to it and does the pose and then hits that, like that ugly tombstone, but it's cool to see those big guys do those moves to each other.
Really cool.
And it's 16 minutes and 45 seconds, I think, and Taker sells how exhausted he is really well, like after the match. He doesn't King Kong Bundy roll out, and I'm never going to let that go.
No.
Kong Bundy.
I don't think King Kong Bundy's let it go, or Undertaker either. It was a fun match. I think definitely helped by the build-up. The story told beforehand helped the match itself. And it's not going to blow away anything you see at Wrestle Kingdom this weekend from New Japan as far as athletic ability. But storytelling, I think it was really, really well done. And if you've watched the build-up beforehand, which I do recommend going through those Raws, if you're going to watch this match, go watch all the build-up for it. And you'll enjoy the match very much. Kind of not quite as good as last month's match, but it's still pretty good. One of Kevin Nash's definitely better matches.
Oh, yeah. He worked well with these guys, with Taker and with Bret Hart and Shawn and all the Razor, all his friends, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not going to see him much longer in the WWF.
This is definitely his swan song for the Diesel character. He'll have one more pay-per-view match, but this was his last WrestleMania as Diesel. And, I think it's technically his last WrestleMania match because he didn't, when the NWO came back, he didn't have another WrestleMania match. So this was it, his WrestleMania finale.
He's appeared, because he came out with the NWO a few years ago, but
wrestle.
he hasn't had another match. You're right. So, again, super-sized episode this week, super-sized story to tell, though, so thanks for bearing with us. It's a personal story, too, because of Big D's relationship with Kevin Nash and how much affinity he had for him and all that stuff. So, thanks for sticking with us, and if you were there at the Anaheim Pond, if you zip-lined... If you were the guy that worked on the zip line for Shawn Michaels, please let us know.
Please let us know.
That's one of the coolest entrances of all time. Why have they never done that again?
I don't know. I guess maybe Owen Hart stuff. I don't know. But yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts on the match. We took a poll on last week's match on our Twitter page at Talking Taker, and I believe 83% of the people agreed with us and thought Undertaker versus Bret Hart was a really good classic match, and only 17% gave it a thumbs down. So that was cool. We'll put up another poll for this week's match, see your opinions on Diesel versus The Undertaker. You can let us know on our Facebook page, Talking Taker, as well. Thanks to everyone who followed us, our new followers who got us over the 800 mark for New Year's. We do appreciate it, and we want to keep growing and keep spreading the word. If you like the podcast, share it with your fellow wrestling fans and your followers. We would greatly appreciate that. Leave us a rating or subscribe on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, Podomatic, YouTube, all the different listening services. Like I said, follow us. Let us know. We'd love to connect with you. You can follow me at Alex Doriot as well. And for next week, we want you to watch In Your House May 1995, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
May 95, In Your House, Beware of Dog, Undertaker versus Goldust. Yes.
They do this show twice, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on the network if it's the original or
I think it's the night after
together or what.
Yeah.
But
or 2 nights after.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, take her easy.
I didn't know for sure if The Undertaker was going to be here tonight or not. What do you mean by that? Funeral services are tomorrow for George Burns. You know he's going to be there, huh? I don't know anything about that.